Good afternoon, students. Jai Hind. Uh, now, I would like to continue our sequence of the dynasties before the beginning of our second book, Medieval World. Understand? Before the beginning, we must have to be the know the order of the dynasties, because this will make the much convenient or the set forth a sequence in your mind to understand the events in a order manner. Understand? So now, students, I have, before that I have taught you in the previous class. Understand? First, let's say if I want to give you very very glimpses of the order of the Indian history. Understand? So now in the beginning of Aryans, we know later Vedic period, Iron Age, then after the Mahabharat period, after that Buddhas, Gautam Buddhas, and after that BC, before Christ, I am telling you, before Mahavira and Buddha, 600 BC, around 500 to 600 BC. This periods come before Christ, I am talking about. And then after the Hareng dynasty, the Magads. After that, the Hareng dynasty. Then after the Mauryan dynasty, and Mauryan dynasty now ruled for a long time. Very important dynasty for your study of the history. And Chandragupta Maurya. Then after the Ashoka the Great, now he was the very great. Or now, or after the decline of the Maurya dynasty, uh, Jayadratha Jayadratha was the last ruler of the Maurya dynasty, who was assassinated by the Pushyamitra Sung, one of the Brahmins commander of the Mauryans. And then after assassinating his king, or this commander became the and laid the foundations of the Sunga dynasty. Understand? And after that, after the first century AD, we shall see that now the rule of the Kushana dynasty and the Kanishk, Kanishk was the one of the most important ruler of that Kushan dynasty. First century AD around, they ruled over India. And then after that, we see that the Gupta dynasty in AD now enter into the AD. Anna Domini. Okay, so now the Gupta dynasty they ruled over India. Amongst them, the Chandragupta, Karmaditya, and Samudragupta, and the Buddhagupta, and other many of the rulers of the Gupta dynasty, they ruled over the India. Now you should keep the order in your mind. I am talking about that. Then after the, if you count it down to there, Gupta dynasty that ended, and then after the Vardhan dynasty was established in northern India, particularly, and southern India, and in the northern India, and the Harshavardhan, who belonged to the Vardhan dynasty, he was the last ruler, last Hindu ruler, a strong Hindu ruler of the northern India. Understand? So now for a century, 3 or 2 centuries, a battle or a conflict. This is called as a tripartite conflict that happened and went on after the demise of the and decline of the Harshavardhan. Understand? He was the last Hindu ruler and great Hindu ruler in northern India. And now to control his Kannauj, his capital, so rulers, three dynasties now got into the long conflicts. And this dynasty, Pala dynasty from Bengal, Pratihara from central India, and Rashtrakuta from the Deccan. Understand? This from the south of the sea, Vindhya and Vindhya hills. Understand? The three powers now completely the kings of, and they wanted to capture the Kannauj. Why? Because it was the a capital center, and whosoever, it was the a concept that whosoever would control this Kannauj, that king would be the and that dynasty would be a legal rights to be called as the ruler and the master of the northern India, because the Harshvardhan's seat of administration was the Kannauj. For that capturing the Kannauj, and it had the economic and the trade importance also. Whosoever control the Kannauj, they would have been the controlling the Gujarat and these were now the harbor and the seaports. Understand? So now from viewpoint of the export and import, it was a very important. Okay, so this is conflicts now went for the 200 years. Understand? Ultimately, Pratihara now ascended on the throne. So now this was the going on one side. First, now the as far as I am the talking about the, and then after the Rajputs now settled in the northern India, and the Delhi and was under the control of the Chauhans, came under the control of Chauhan, or these Prithviraj Chauhan, understand, who was the ruling at the Delhi. That I am talking one side. This is the king side talk. Now see the when the advent of the Muslims started. Advent of the Muslim, the first attack happened by the Muhammad bin Qasim on the Sindh. Reason I am not going to tell about that. I will not go in the detail. Understand? Here the Muhammad bin Qasim now attack on the Sindh, and first time the Dahir, the ruler of a Brahmin's king was there, and this Brahmin's king was defeated and he was slave. Understand? Or where the Muslim state first time in on the Hindu territory, a Muslim ascendancy and dominance happened. Understand? Or the first time the Muslims now imposed the jizya there. Understand? It was the a kind of the tax on the non-Muslims. Understand? Or the as a mark of the second citizen, as a mark of the second citizens of the Muslim state, Islamic state. So here we are seeing that in the 712 or 13 AD this happened. Okay. Then after come down to the 1000 AD, the 1001 AD. 1001 in the 1001 AD, Mahmud Ghaznavi started attacking upon the India. But his intention was what? Not to establish the kingdoms in India. Understand? He was not in the not intended to establish his empire in India. Only he wanted to capture the booties and the wealth, sacking the temples. Wanted to sack the temples, northern Indian temples, which were the huge the amount of the gold and silvers and the diamonds were there accumulated. So he wanted the looting. He looted, and 70 times in attack on India. And his one of the important attack was on the Somnath temples in 1025 AD. Understand? Or then after he back to the Ghazni. Okay. So then after the absent of the 1 century, then the Muhammad Ghori, he belonged to the Gor, and he now intended to capture the India. And his intention was different from the Mahmud Ghaznavi. He wanted to establish the Muslim state in India. Understand? He wanted to rule over the India, not to looting India and going back. No, he wanted to the established his empire in India, Muslim empire in India. So the Muhammad Ghori have had the war with the Prithviraj Chauhan. Understand? A brave king of the Chauhan dynasty, or the Prithviraj Chauhan. The first battle of Tarain happened in 1191. Understand? In that battle, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated and gave a crushing defeat to this Muhammad Ghori army, or he now just badly wounded, and hardly he escapes his life from the battlefield. Understand? And then after that, he back, and again after the 1 year's regular training of his army, and he went. It said that I went without sleeping 1 year. Hardly I slept, because he now just he dreamed about the India, dreamed India, and anyhow he wanted to capture the India. So then he just again after the 1 year in the second battle of the Tarain, 1192, Unfortunately, Prithviraj Chauhan now got defeated. He was defeated and he was captured and the killed. Understand? Many stories are there. Prithviraj Raso Chandavardai, one of the court poets of the Prithviraj Chauhan, he had written the this book, or in the differently he has described. Understand? Or unbelievable things had been the incidents or events he had included in Prithviraj Raso. So that's it. I will not tell the story. I have no time. We have to be there here. Later on, understand. So the Prithviraj was different and Muhammad Ghori established his empire here. Understand? But he had no any heir or any successor and son. So that's why in the and as he got the death in the 1206 he died, and in after that who said after that the Kutubuddin Aibak, who now ascended on the throne of the Delhi. Understand? He was ascended, or then after, or right from 1206 to the 1290. This period is called as the period of slave dynasty. So I am going to count the important rulers of the slave dynasty. I will many of the slave dynasties rulers are there, but I will count it a few of that. The Kutubuddin Aibak, who is supposed to be the founder of the Muslim dynasty in India, slave dynasty in India. Understand? Or then after the Iltutmish, after that Razia Sultan, and after the Behram Shah, then after the Mahmud Shah. Understand? Or ultimately the Balban became the king in the 1265. Understand? Then the Balban, after the Balban, understand? Balban dates, he ruled for a very long time. And then after his sons, Camus and his sons were not so much important. Or 1290, this dynasty ended, slave dynasty ended. After that, Jalaluddin Khilji laid the foundation of the Khilji dynasty. Jalaluddin Khilji, okay, became after that Mahmud after the Alauddin Khilji. He was a very prominent, and for the certain things now standing army or standing army, he is a very famous, defending the Mongols, defending the Delhi from Mongols, and extending his empire in the and penetrating the deep south. For that he is known very well, and the one of the most reforms for that he is known. Alauddin Khilji is known. That is the market policy. Then after we see that here market policy, so he established the empire. Then after the uh, Mubarak Shah Khalji, and other, but they were not so important. And Alauddin had a dream to got constructed the Qutub Minar higher than the Qutub Minar, one of the minarets. Understand? But he could not, although this project was started, but it could not be the fulfilled because of his demise or the death. Understand? Or the then after the Jalaluddin Khilji, sorry, the after that Khilji dynasty declined. I have already given the some instances. After the Khilji dynasty, the Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq laid the foundation of the Tughlaq dynasty. Understand? Or yes, after the he was assassinated or not, this is the question of the historians and the conflict. Then after the Muhammad bin Tughlaq became the ruler of the India. Understand? The Muhammad bin Tughlaq is known important for he is called as the Mad Sultan. Understand? And for his reforms, he is the known that some of the projects he had. Now he transferred the Delhi capital from the Delhi to Dolatabad and Dolatabad to Delhi. Understand? First, second, he increased the taxes in the uh, Doaba, and the third he introduced the copper coin in lieu of the gold and silver coins in the. Understand? So for that, so this his project completely failed. Understand? Although he was a very intellectual, but he could not got the success in the implementing this project of the new coin system. He started like the rupees or a symbolic a token money he wanted to, like the rupees. He wanted to, on the basis of the Chinese or Iranian rulers, he wanted to implement that, but he could not get the success. The further next next year, now he next day of that Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Now he is made the way of the agricultural reforms. Many agricultural reforms he is known for that, and he got dug the canals and the water system, irrigation system he established in India. Understand? So now we see that after the Firoz, and he was a very out and out Muslim. Firoz was the very out and out Muslim, and then after the Firoz Shah Tughlaq, okay, then after other rulers were not so important. Or Taimur's attack in 1398, Taimur made the invasion upon India and the looted, and he made the made the capture in the certain parts of the Punjab up to the Western India. Understand? Northwest frontiers was uh, now the under his control. Or then after, okay, we see that this dynasty was the sultans of Delhi. After that, the Sayyid sultans came to the Delhi on the Delhi. Upon them, over the Khijr Khan in 1440 to 1421. Khijr Khan is the founder of Sayyid dynasty, and for this Sayyids Mubarak Shah or Muhammad Shah, understand, or Alauddin Alam Shah. These were the Sayyid dynasty rulers. Understand? But they did not make the any remarkable thing or achievements to be explained here. Understand? So this dynasty now from the 1414 to 1415, this dynasty ruled by the Khizr Khan was the founder. You can remember this. Sayyid dynasty, Khizr Khan founded. Mubarak Shah, Muhammad Shah, and the Alauddin Alam Shah. Understand? These were the belong to the Sayyid dynasty. Or after the Sayyid dynasty, the Lodi dynasty was founded. This was the last dynasty of the Sultanate period. Then after the Mughals now attack and came to the India. Understand? Understand? The Mughals came to the India, and these Sayyid, amongst the Sayyid, we Lodi dynasty. The here the Lodi dynasty was the founded by the uh, Lodi Sultan Bahlol Lodi. He was the founder of the Lodi dynasty. He founded the Lodi dynasty 1451, and the 1489 he ruled over the India. Now the Lodi dynasty, the last dynasty. Second Lodi was the rather prominent was the Sikandar Lodi, 1489 to 1517. 1517. Or the last ruler of the Sayyid Lodi dynasty was Ibrahim Lodi, 1517 to the 1526 AD. He ruled over the India. Understand? But he was the king during his time, Sultan, or during his time 1526. Okay, uh, the great attack and a transitional change happened during the time of the Ibrahim Lodi. Ibrahim Lodi, he was the now because many of the his governors and the other rulers were the enemy, rose enemy, or they were the against, and the hatching the conspiracy against him. Or in the meantime, the Babur from the Faragana, he was struggling there, and ultimately the Babur had decided his fate, and his fate in India. He wanted to now the test his fate in India. Understand? So the Babur then mobilized his army, a very tested army towards the India. But the Babur was getting the letters from the Bahar Khan Lodi. Understand? Letters from the others his governor of the Punjab, and as well as governor of Punjab, and then after the Rana Sanga, who was the understand Rajput ruler. He had also wrote a letter to the Babur to make the attack upon the India. Babur is just in Tujke Babri. He had explained. Babur wrote his autobiography, the Tujke Babri, or in this Tujke Babri, he had now explained about that. So the Babur now advanced towards the India, and in the 1526, the two kings, two now were, it is said that Babur had only the 12,000 trained cavalry, and the Babur had the carrying the cannons also. He had come and used the first time cannon in India. First time the cannon was used in India against, and second time it was the also used the in the battle of the Rakshas Tangdi, yeah, battle of the Banihati or Talikota. This is the called at the 1565. Now against the Vijayanagar, Bahmani states had the and the Bahmani state, Bijapur, Golconda, or Ahmednagar. Understand? They had made the coalition against the Vijayanagar, and they attack upon that. And the first time the cannons was used there in that field. But before that, in 1526, Babur used this cannon. Understand? And Babur now followed a kind of the tactics of the war called as the Tulugma. It is said that Babur had only the trained 12,000 army only, and on the contrary, Ibrahim Lodi had the 1 lakhs army. But within the few hours, the 1 lakhs army was completely demolished and rooted out, and Babur ultimately got the victory over that. So now here, the Babur Babur got the victory upon the India. Understand? Then after the Babur got a very difficult task for that. Now the Babur had to the now face the other powers in India, those who were the invited Babur, the Rana Shanga. Rana Shanga was a very brave ruler of India. Understand? A Rajput ruler. On it is said that upon his body there were the 80 wounds on his body, and he has lost one of the eyes in the battlefields. Understand? So now the Rana Sanga, who had wrote the letter to the Babur, and Babur now made a pretense that Rana Sanga did not help him. And something he wrote, the blame on the Rana Sanga. So this now caused a situation of the battle between the two strong rulers. But it is said that Rana Shanga's name and fame or the bravery was spread all over the India. Understand? And even though when the Babur army they got the message of that bravery or gallant of Rana Shanga, now they did not dare to advance against the Rana Shanga. Understand? So now what happened? Babur now, he now he now used the jihad, a religious war. He gave the war a religious war fervor, a taste of religious war. What happened in that? Now he stood in the, or he now delivered a spirited speech of the among the great commanders, and he wanted to steal the sense of the spirit, enthusiasm in the this lost and disheartened army of Babur. And Babur now in the battlefield he said that if you lose, if you go back, see your back, so your back, then what? You will get the help. If you fight against this kafir and make the victory over them, so now this will you will get, and you will die fighting. You will get the Jannat. You will get the heaven. And if you run away, you will get the hell. And now further he used the term. You know again the desert of the Faragna. Know again the scarcity of the Faragna. We have to make our fortune here. Understand? So now, moreover, Babur, and he said that on the horse riding, Babur broken and threw his plate, his glass, and plates of wine on the ground and broken, and said that took the swear, yeah, I would not take this again until I win this battle. Understand? This is a commander's now a commander's speech inspired the Baburs and the Mughal army. And after that, Mughal army fought very bravely against the Rana Shanga in 1527 Battle of Khanwa. Understand? In which the Rana Shanga got the defeat there. And one of the Babur's rival. And then after Babur in 1529, he fought against the Medini Rai, Battle of Chanderi. Understand? Where the Medini Rai was defeated. Understand? Or then the Babur established the Mughal Empire in India. Although he got the very immature death in the 1530, he died. Understand? It is said that many stories are related to his death. That I have no time to explain. So many things I have escaped. Not I have not gone detail. Understand? Only the a briefing I was doing this. So after the Babur, then after Humayun, understand Humayun. After that Humayun, Akbar, Akbar after the Akbar. After the Akbar, Jahangir. After Jahangir, Shah Jahan. Okay. After Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. After Aurangzeb, now Bahadur Shah first. After that, Jahadar Shah. After that, after that, uh, uh, after that, Muhammad Shah. Then after the understand. So this was the order of the Mughal. But 1707 up to that, the Aurangzeb rule established, and that is the supposed to be the important from viewpoint of the history. Understand? So now this was the order of the dynasty. I have already explained this. So under this precision, Sultanate period, then after the Mughals period. Okay, Mughal rulers. So under there, so we shall study what? Not their dynasty, not their victories, not their achievements. We shall study the society, religion, literature, language, religion, literature, language, bhakti movements, and the common man's and their relations, and these religious relations with the kings, whether they were inclined to kings, and the common man and the masses. But the assimilation, and how far assimilation between the two cultures, Indo-Islamic cultures, happened or not happened. This will be the subject of our study further. And Muslim states introduced what kind of the traditions and the and fashion, in what fashion, in what way and the fashions they rule India, and new things they and elements they introduced in the Indian history. That will be the subject of our study, students. Now I am going to just stop this. Okay, later on we shall start from the first chapter in the next first second book of, and which some chapter has been deleted now. So then I will see the chapter which had to be the asked in the board examinations. That will I will start. Okay, thank you very much for attending.